And so it begins. First of all, I'd like to thank the people that have been following me on YouTube for the last 8 or 9 years, because some of the videos that I have been putting out on Patreon only are the ones that I had from New York, and one of my subscribers on Patreon, a fellow named Blue Rose, is a young man. He's a working blue collar man. He made this really cool video that he called the tribute to Michael Fazio, and I'm gonna post the link to that. I want to thank Blue Rose for posting it's a really cool video. I'm going to post the name and the link to that video. It has me running down the Florida Keys. The name of the video is a tribute to Michael Fazio. And it's opening up. I'm having a lot of problems with the internet here in the Philippines, which is par for the course lately. Well, I could do this two ways. I can do this. I can post the title here, which I will, and then I can cut the link out of the top because that page will not open. I think anything that has to do with Michael Fazio is being subjected to YouTube's algorithms. So let's just there's the link and there's the title. So okay, so Vincent Slowberg, Vincent Slowberg. Hi from Valley Center, California. Married to a Filipina and happy as a lark. Yeah, they're good women, Vincent. I have a good woman also. Her and I, Daisy and I work together, and we spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week together. I think, all things considered, we get along great. Yep, they're good women. I can't tell you. I went back to America. Someone mentioned this to me the other day. Another fellow named Michael, who I'm friends with, who is very much aware of the mystical stuff that I talk about in my dollar bill videos. In fact, hello, Big Kevin. Welcome to the machine. In fact, this fellow Michael, he's with a woman named Rose, and we see each other for about 6 months a year. He comes to the Philippines, and then he goes back to Canada to play golf. He said he was leaving last week, so he stopped by to say goodbye to me, and he said, now I have to go back to Canada and look at all my friends, because Mike's in his early to mid 50s. I have to go back and watch all my friends be abused by their wives. And I said to them, I started laughing, because not only does he understand human nature, but he understands the nature of the beast and what the Western world has done to women, where they give them some sort of power over men. And when I went back to America, I saw this on a daily basis. I would see women tell their husbands what to do, when the husband should have been making those kind of decisions, like where to put something in the backyard. It's the husband is creating some sort of a motif with nautical stuff, and the wife would, no, don't put it there. Going, Jesus Christ. You're the one who's doing this. Put it wherever you want. You bought the house. You're the one who has the business that bought the house. You created the business that bought the house. It's your house. It's your backyard. Why are you? And I happen to agree where he was putting the items, and yet the woman didn't want it there, so he changed it. He goes, it's just easier to listen just easier to move it. I'm going, but it's not in the right place. It's not nautical anymore. It's in the corner of your yard. You can't see it. Anyway, yeah, they have a name for that. We have none of that here in the Philippines. Well, I'm sure there is. Well, actually, yeah, there's most of the guys from other countries, Australia and England, to be more specific. They are whipped into shape. I can't believe it. I even said to them, how could you listen to this shit? How could you listen? How could you cower down to a woman? It's your money. You're the, well, yes, but it's under her name. And I'm going, what does that have to do with anything or the price of tea in China? You are the one who, it's your family's money that's building all of this stuff. And you cower down to them like they had, you were like they were an Egyptian slave master over you. What is wrong with you, you spineless bastard? And I said those words, but I was a little bit, well, I was quite a bit more animated at the time. And I was chasing him across the top of a building because he was running away, not from me. He was running away from the situation at hand. And he was afraid to confront Filipinos that were working for him that did something incorrectly. And I had a disagreement with one of them. Let's leave it at a disagreement. I was 100% right. Everybody knew I was 100% right. And yet I said to him, aren't you going to stick up for me? I'm right about this. And he had a broom in his hand. He was brooming. He swept the floor. He headed across the top of the building, sweeping the floor while he was moving away with his head down towards the floor like a little girl. And I'm going, you're not going to stick up for me, you spineless bastard? And no, he wouldn't stick up for me. And anyway, how can you cower down to a woman? And the woman was in charge. So let's put it like this. So Mike and I had this long conversation of about 3 minutes because we both in full agreement that for some reason Western women or the Western women have control over men because of the television, because of this, because of that. Hello, Scott. Welcome to the machine. And Big Kevin. Big Kevin, I saw you putting out some pretty good content in the last couple of weeks, Big Kevin. You're a pisser, Big Kevin. You want to go see some comedy? Big Kevin's got some comedy on his channel. I can't even talk. I'm not even going there, Big Kevin. If you want to see comedy, you go see Big Kevin's channel. And Mrs. Heminger, my God, Mrs. Heminger, how we have evolved. You and I have evolved into an understanding between each other. Mrs. Heminger used to be the biggest troll on YouTube. Probably still is. Probably has 6 or 7 troll accounts that I don't know who they are. But Mrs. Heminger is now actually Mrs. Heminger always had good information, but he never stopped trolling. So no one ever paid any attention to it. But now, as Mrs. Heminger has become a businessman, an entrepreneur of the business world, and got serious about making money, now he has some good advice on where to live and where to have, where to become. What were you talking about something the other day? Where to retire? Mrs. Heminger actually putting out good information. Thanks. I get a kick out of that. Knowing you from the time that you had the ants on the windowsill in Bohol, you had an apartment, and you were showing people what your apartment looked like through those old jalousie windows or some old decrepit window, and you had a girl on the side of the bed. And all I remember about that video was the ants. He was showing you outside what it looked like, the wind, and there was ant lines just, and I'm going, how the hell could you live there like that? Now I understand. I understand this. So yeah, I remember the ants. That was one of the first things. And that was one of the first things I noticed. You had a kitchen with ant lines running across the kitchen. I'm going, how do you eat food there? But, you know, that's the Philippines. No, you're making videos again. No, I didn't know that. Post the video here. Post the link here. If it's okay, post the video here. So, yeah, Mrs. Heminger with the information. So Vincent Schloberg is drinking a red horse as he gathers wisdom. Vincent, I went back to America and I watched men cow down to women, and I looked at them and I'm going, you know, okay, there's such a thing as a beta male, and I guess there's a Charlie male too, because I saw some Charlie males. These guys weren't even beta males. I listened to women tell guys to do. I'm going, you're not really going to do that, are you? I said to somebody that, you're not going to do that, are you? Yeah, well, you know, she said, but she said what? She said what? Who pays the bills around here? Whose house is it? Who goes to work every day? All right, so I'm going to show Mrs. Heminger's link. It was hidden. So Mrs. Heminger's actually putting out content nowadays. So Mrs. Heminger, welcome to the machine. Now we're going to read Scott Del Fuego. And now I'm going to talk about substandard building materials in the Philippines. I have been screwed over. Let me read Scott's comment, and we're gonna get into a little bit of a rant. Hola, Miguel. Senior Fazio mas macho verdad. Well, I guess that means alpha male. So thank you, Scott. Yeah, no, there would be none of that beta mailing here. And Mrs. Heminger is a perfect example of the non-beta male. Mrs. Heminger is if there was an alpha male, Mrs. Heminger, you could put Mrs. Heminger's icon on the alpha male sign. So let's talk about substandard, and I'm sure Scott Del Fuego is the same way, and some of my other friends. They'll have none of my close personal friends will have nothing to do with that beta male garbage. And you know, if you don't believe me, you should go to my channel and look up in my video section, put search male chauvinist pig. Yeah, baby, I got some of those videos. But also search marriage counseling. Just put the word marriage counseling by Michael Fazio. You probably could Google Michael Fazio marriage counseling. I have some of the best marriage counseling videos on YouTube. I'll tell you what, I'll find one for you. It's gonna take a minute. I'm going to find one of my, where are we? Over there. All right. So I'm going to find one of my marriage counseling videos for you to give you an idea of what kind of, and I'm not kidding around in this marriage counseling video. If you think I'm kidding, you are, sadly mistaken. This video, this is a series of videos I did under the pretense of Rabbi Jew Barker does marriage counseling. Let's see. Rabbi Jew Barker drunk as a skunk. Nope. This is going back some years here. Male chauvinist pig. Okay, let's just start you off with, YouTube likes this video a lot. You can go to my homepage, and these are some of the titles, okay? Male chauvinist pigs and marriage counseling on lying, defective females in general. And then that's one title. Rabbi Jew Barker, the male chauvinist pig does pre-marriage counseling for young adults. Now we have the third one, single male chauvinist pig on marriage counseling. So, and then there's another one, marriage and male chauvinist pigs. But that one, I can only send that out to my close friends privately. So some of them I have marked not suitable for general audience. But let's give you a 5-minute video of a single male chauvinist pig on marriage counseling. Let's give you the link and the title to that and let you enjoy. I might have even had, I'm not sure if I had, I forget what I forget. I haven't watched any of these in a long time. But single male chauvinist pig on marriage counseling experts is the name of that video. So this one is actually monetized. And it actually makes me money. Hard to believe, but I'm sure that somebody will mass flag it this week, and that's okay. I don't really give a shit. So here we are. There it is, and there we are. And now, Vincent Schloberg, he just subscribed. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you very much. So this is just one of many of 5 videos. Keep scrolling. This is one of 5 videos that are allowed on YouTube. Okay, there are others. None of them have ever been taken down, but I had to put age restricted on them, and then they were not suitable for all audiences and blocked in certain countries. So some of them I just don't even bother with, except on the Patreon, and that's only at $50 or above the Patreon subscribers, which there are some, by the way. Thank you for that. So we have, did we get blue roses? Did I put in the blue rose? Yeah, tribute to Michael Fazio. Okay, so we have that stuff. So now we're going to go into substandard quality building materials in the Philippines. But first I want to talk about one of the companies that I used to deal with in America was a company called REI. That would be Romeo Echo India. REI, Romeo Echo India. And it's listed under sporting goods. Okay, first of all, let me preface this where at one point in the 1980s, REI was the best, bar none. There were 2 companies that sold the best sporting goods equipment. REI had a different selection than, I forgot the name of the other company, but they were hello Mercury, welcome to the machine. So while we're talking about REI and Mercury 3 showed up, let's talk about liars. Let's talk about liars and crocodile tears, because REI, the company that I talked to on the phone to order sneakers, that I know I've been ordering the same style, same brand sneakers for 38 years. They lied to me. REI, this is REI, they lied to me, and they had so many lies, it can only be attributed to a pair of vertical lips. And I was the one crying crocodile tears because of the lies from REI. Okay? The company, at one point in history, was the best sporting goods company. Couldn't give it a higher recommendation. And the prices were fantastic. Honey, where is that jacket the one I asked you to wash yesterday? The blue one that we're going to take to the buffet? All right, so I'll give you for instance, how good their products were. Okay, this is a windbreaker. It's not waterproof. It never was waterproof. It's a windbreaker for basically for going out on my boat. Okay. Now, in the back of the, now I bought this in 1980 or 1979. Okay. Now I didn't buy it in 1999. I bought this back in 1989. So it's already 38 or 40 years old, going on 40 years old. So this is a windbreaker. It has a little bit of some sort of anti-absorbent, like a wicking material. And it's still, I wear it, still. Okay, it's been sewn a few times, but the pockets, the zippered pockets, the zippers still work perfectly. Here's a zippered pocket. Here's the zipper. Works perfectly. Both zippers work perfectly. The hood folds up, and it's got a little beak on it, like a duck beak on it. It folds. It toughs down into the gear, and then it snaps. It snaps over here. It snaps down. So this is 40 years old. I paid $100. It was in the low $100, $120, $130, $119, $129 for this. So, but it lasted 38 years, and I still wear it on a regular basis. Okay, so some of the seams fell apart because I machine washed it, and Daisy's gonna, Daisy, if you sew it up, it's it's easy material to sew up. So this is the quality that they once sold. But over here, I just found one more. Right here, along that side there. I'll just put it down here. Okay, so Daisy is sewing. She'll say hello in a minute. Look, she's actually got this little sewing kit here with all of her sewing gear. She bought this little single shot thing. I don't know how it works, and she's got all her sewing stuff in here. Daisy when we are not working outside, Daisy keeps busy by sewing. Yes, I write poetry. I have written poetry. Thank you. Yes, Vincent. Yes, I have. So Mercury, welcome to the machine. Princess and Nude, welcome to the machine. Okay, so REI at one point in time sold the best quality merchandise, bar none. There was another company, forgot the name of it, really good company. Bean, JL Bean, I think it was, or J Bean, that something Bean. Somebody want to write it down? I'll take a look at what it was. So Mrs. Hemmage is coming back to Mrs. Hemmage. When you come back to the Philippines, you and I are going to get together. I don't drink, but we'll have a glass of water, and you could drink if you want. But I want to meet you. Okay, I wanted to meet you for a different reason a few years ago, but I think you and I make a great video compilation. So going back to REI, so now there's a sneaker called Solomon, as in King Solomon's sneaker. And now REI, during the months from September through March, always sold the Solomon sneaker for $89, except from September through March, they put them on sale for $49 because it's a summer water sneaker. Do I have one of my Solomon sneakers here, Daisy?
What's that?
The ones I brought from America. Actually, the red ones are outside. I threw them. I didn't throw them out. It's probably the one that's on the floor. Anyway, it's called Solomon sneakers. So they were always on sale from September through March for $49. Whatever the inventory was left over from the summer, they sold the sneakers for $49. And when I bought them, I bought 10 pairs at a time, sometimes 8, sometimes 12 pairs. And I used them for work, working with the backhoe, working on the barge. Been wearing them since 1980. Same sneakers, same cut, same model, same colors, gray or blue. And for $49, you buy 10, 12 pairs, $500-$600, and then you don't have to order them for another, I don't know, 3, 5 years, 7 years. So when I moved to the Philippines, I didn't buy any new ones, but I had 3 new pairs, and I gave one pair to a family member, and I kept 3 pairs. And I just finished, Daisy sewed it for the last time about 6 months ago. It's garbage now, the sneaker. So when I went to America, I wanted to buy a new pair of sneakers, and I did. I called up REI, I went onto their catalog, and I saw Solomon sneakers, same, it's called the amphibian sneaker. So if you go on REI's website and look up Solomon amphibian sneaker, you'll see it. $129. And this is in February when I was in New York. So I call up and I said, I wanted to buy 10 pairs of sneakers, but you don't have them on sale anymore. Do you know if they're going to go on sale between February and March? I'll order them while I'm in New York and April. So she said, no, we cannot tell. They used to know if something was going to go on sale, and they would tell you as part of their service. But their service just sucks now. Let's just be quite simple. I'll never buy anything from REI again. So they have this. They had another brand, which I posted on my Patreon account, but only at the $20 and above level. The RANT, I went off on 2 operators to the point where they hung up. And then the third one, of course, I had to calm down in order to get her to send me a shipping label, which took 13 minutes to get the information that she wanted before she was going to help me. It took about 8 or 9 minutes. And then she gave me subterfuge, lies, deceits, and half-truths for 4 more minutes. And on the 13th minute, I said, why can't you just send me a shipping label to return this garbage? So let's go to the garbage. So they had a pair of sneakers on sale, Solomon brand, $59. I think it was $59. Still haven't gotten my refund too, by the way. And it's already 3 weeks. So I ordered 2 pairs. And the lady said 2 weeks, 2 days. Be 2 to 3 business days, you'll have your order. So I ordered them, March? No. It was April 3rd, whatever the day it was. It's on the Patreon. I've tried to be more realistic, but it was whatever day it was. She said, let's just go with April 1st so that it's easy for you to remember how screwed up REI has become. So on the 1st in the morning, because that's when I do my ordering in the morning, I ordered 2 pairs of these Solomon sneakers, but not the amphibians, another one, water sneaker. But it was only $59. I figured, well, maybe it's a derivative of the amphibian. I'll buy 2 pairs. So I wear a size 10, maximum 10 and a half, fits me, American cut, fits me fine. Okay. But to be on the safe side, and because I bought some Super Duty socks, I bought a size 11. 2 to 3 days, a week goes by, 8 days goes by. I thought it was 9. 8 days goes by. I get this delivery. I open up the box. So now I ordered April 1st. I get them on April 9th. 8 days, from 2 to 3 days. Now I'm pissed because I'm walking around in sandals in America in 18-degree weather. And you'll see that in my videos of me walking through snowstorms with no socks and my sandals because my foot, the wound was still open on my foot. So I get these on the 9th. I open the box and they won't fit. So I call up REI and I said, I need you to come pick these up. Send UPS to my house. and have them call me. They used to call you, UPS. They would call you and say, the truck is coming to your house in a few minutes, whatever, because they used to have that service. They don't provide that service anymore. I argued with that woman for 10 minutes. I don't want UPS to come to my house and leave a note on the door. I'm working at a warehouse, not at the house, and I can't hear the horn from the warehouse. It's 18 degrees out. I have a hat on. I'm inside the building and the windows are closed, and I'm 100 feet plus away from the street. Well, it took me 13 minutes arguing with this woman. And I said, the 4 minutes of her telling me only UPS could come and pick them up. And I could travel 60 miles, and I don't have a car in New York. I could travel 60 miles to their store one way to Mamaroneck from Brooklyn. And I could drive there and return the sneakers. I said, I'm not going to do that. So after 4 minutes, I said, why don't you just send me a shipping label? And she goes, well, you're only going to be there for another 8 or 9 days, you said, because it wasn't April 1st. It was actually like April 20th, and I was leaving May 30th. It was April 20th, and I was leaving April 30th. So I said, what are you talking about? I'm only going to be here for 8 or 9 days. Just send me a shipping label. She goes, well, it may take 8 or 9 days for you to receive it, which was bullshit. She was just doing everything but helping me. And on Patreon at the $20 or above level, that's where you can see that video. And my friends here who are here, Scott, Mercury, and maybe some of my other friends can see that. I put it there because I did curse a little bit, but not at her, at the sneakers I cursed. So that they suck. So she sends me the shipping label, but meanwhile I had 3 hours, an hour to order them, an hour to argue with her on the phone, and an hour to bring them back to the post office. They just suck. So, but my point here is substandard. Okay, so where did the sneakers come from? The sneakers used to be made in China. REI's products used to be made in China. Do you see a label on that shirt where it was made, on that jacket, Daisy? And some of them were made in America, but most of their sneakers were made in China. Now, REI sneakers are made in Vietnam. So when I went to put the sneaker on, my foot didn't even fit into the sneaker. I couldn't even get my toes past the shoestrings. In other words, it's not like I couldn't put my foot in and they were tight. I couldn't even get my toes into the sneaker. So the sneakers are now made in Vietnam. So, nothing? Okay. The label was erased. But some of the products used to be made in America, but no longer is that the case. So, but I was told that 11 would fit me. If I wear a 10, 11 would be okay. So, and one of the options that one of the first ladies gave me, well, one was a guy, but he should have been a woman when he was born, because he was a sissy. First time I cursed, because sorry, I'm going to have to hang up. I said, did that hurt your little ears? Did your eardrums get hurt when I cursed at your shit products? Click. That was the end of him. I guess he's doing the job that he was made for, kissing ass on the telephone. So, one of the solutions, that they lied to me about everything. Okay, so REI sucks. Never buy another product from them. Their products are now made in Vietnam. So normally, what I would wear a 10 sneaker, now I bought an 11. One of the solutions was buy a 13. We have 13 in stock, which I would have had to wait for again. No, I'm not going to do that. So this is what's come to, and this is this company, REI. It's based in America. I'm not sure where it's based. It's in mid-America somewhere. So now they lie to you as to when the materials are coming, and telling you that the product sizes are still the same. So theoretically, if the sneakers were cut where I would normally wear a 10 and 11 was too small, try a 13, what do you have to do? You have to guess which one, what brands are right size and what brands are not. That sucks. Now let's go to the Chinese plywood in the Philippines, my favorite subject. I saw those Solomon tactical boots. Well, Scott, here's what you can do. I saw those boots and wanted to buy a pair myself, but I have a pair of really good boots here. Now that the wound is healed on my foot, and I didn't want to spend $300 for something that I never tried before. But REI, if you want to go look at the tactical boots from REI, they have store outlets. I would suggest you go to a store outlet. I even think that maybe Solomon would make a good shoe still. I don't know where this shoe came from, this Solomon sneaker that I bought. It could have been like a bogus brand Solomon sneaker made in Vietnam, but it said Solomon on the box. You'll see it on the thing. So they have stores, and if the boot is good, $300 for a pair of tactical boots, I don't know that I would want to spend that much, but you said it's not out of pocket. Am I reading that correctly? I would try, before I spent $300, I would go to the boot store and make sure they were all double stitched or even triple stitched. but REI does have outlets in most major cities, so you could look to go to the store and check. That would probably be, but I personally, from ordering over the phone, I would never do it again, considering the wasted time. All right, Mrs. Heminger, I was back again, Mrs. Heminger. Mrs. Heminger met a girl, worked in a Vietnamese factory. You wouldn't want Vietnamese making your stuff. Mrs. Heminger, after you were done with a woman, she probably wouldn't be good to do anything except the service industry. Mrs. Heminger, he is a trip when it comes to women. Always was and always will be. Not a beta male, that's for sure. He's an alpha male. So now let's talk about this Chinese plywood. Daisy, did you bring that bucket in? Okay, would you give me some cold water, please? Okay, here we are. This is what pisses me off. First of all, I bought this Chinese plywood from a Chinaman who owns a lumberyard, who lied to me about everything. Everything this guy sells sucks. Everything he sells comes from China. I bought a toilet bowl from him. I bought a toilet bowl from China, from a Chinese guy. I only paid, it was $65, $70 for the toilet bowl. What a piece of shit. What a perfect place to put ta'i. Because the toilet bowl broke. Used to be a toilet bowl, the flusher part was connected with a brass chain or a stainless steel chain. Then it went to nylon. Now it went to some kind of plastic string. It didn't last a couple of weeks, so we put a piece of nylon string in there. But the actuator that shuts off the water jammed up. I don't know why. So I had to take it apart and clean the float mechanism. Some little piece of debris that normally wouldn't affect. I didn't see the debris, but my eyes are bad. Some sort of debris that was too small for me to see clogged it up. Now it's working, but it's still broke. It still jams up. I still have to take it apart, and I still have to clean the actuator around the cylinder. This guy, Mercury, thank you. Flushing a toilet. Mercury, can't mention flushing a toilet without Mercury super chatting me. I wish I had. I don't know, see if I could find a portable toilet bowl. That was a trip. That whole series of toilet bowl flushing mechanisms in America. God bless. Thank you, Mercury. So this Chinese guy sells me a Chinese toilet bowl made in China that didn't last a week. Broke. Only $70, but $70 here in the Philippines is a lot of money. So now I had to fix it at least 10 or 15 times in the last 2 years. Now I buy from that Chinese guy, you saw the plywood, 50 sheets of 1/2-inch marine plywood. It says, there's a round label on that video. It says marine plywood inside the label. They were 700. Some of them were 500 pesos. Then I bought the better brand for 700 pesos, which was $14 a sheet. This is the better brand. This one that I have in my hand. This is this $14 a sheet plywood, 1/2-inch thick. Yeah, this is the 1/2-inch stuff. And watch what happens to this in every sheet that was laid against anything that was wet or could get wet, rotted or got termites and rotted. Every single sheet that was laying down on top of like if it had a joist underneath it like that, it rotted where the joist was. If it had a 2x4 laying down flat, it rotted here. If I put 2 sheets of plywood together because they didn't have 3/4-inch plywood, so I doubled up on 1/2-inch plywood, it rotted between the 2 sheets. If the sun was on it, the sun beat it up so bad it blistered the outside layer off of it. So this is 1/2-inch plywood, 1/2-inch, and this is what happened to it after 2 years of being outside. That was a piece of 1/2-inch plywood. This is a piece of 1/2-inch plywood breaking. This is another piece of 1/2-inch plywood breaking. That's another piece of 1/2-inch plywood breaking. That's another piece. Now I'll take this. This looks like the good edge because it has paint on it, right? That's another piece of 1/2-inch plywood breaking. That's another piece of 1/2-inch plywood breaking. See the paint where I painted it so that it wouldn't rot? Yeah, see? This is 1/2-inch. This is Chinese marine plywood. Watch. This is Chinese marine plywood breaking. This is Chinese marine plywood after 2 years outside in the weather. This is Chinese marine plywood. I'm going to make sawdust. Sawdust. I made sawdust. This is Chinese marine plywood. This is Chinese marine plywood. Sold in the Philippines. This is Chinese marine plywood. Sold in the Philippines. 2 years outside weathered. This is not potato chips. This is Chinese marine plywood. This is Chinese marine plywood after 2 years in the weather. Huh? You want a piece? So I used 50 sheets of that shit. I used 50 sheets of that. And where I doubled it up on the floor of the container, on the deck of the top of the container, where I doubled it up, I used 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 sheets on the deck of the floor. Wherever it was doubled, it turned into that product that you just saw. And I just, in the last live stream, the last 2 days, we removed all of the decking from the top of the container because of the rot. And you couldn't walk on it any longer. It just, wherever you put your, Daisy could walk on it, but I couldn't walk on it. So wherever I put my foot, it just crushed down to the top of the container. So we took it apart. The thing that pisses me off about the Chinese marine plywood is, besides it made a mess on my desk, is that when I ordered it, the guy who sold it to me swore that was the highest quality plywood that they built boats out of. That was Chinese. It says Chinese marine plywood on it, on the label. So there's nothing that he's going to do about that either. I have brought back a piece of that plywood a year and a half ago. I went back. I have not bought anything from that lumberyard ever again. I went back and showed him the plywood and what happened to it after only like a year. And he said, I don't understand. Maybe you had a bad batch. They just lie straight to your face here in the Philippines. It's called cash and carry. You walk out, you pay cash, that's it, it's yours, you own it. There's no refunds, I said to him, you're gonna have to make up 15,000 pesos for the plywood that's rotting. He said, no, sir, I am not responsible for the bad batch. Remember, it was the plywood that instead of being a 90 degree on the end, it was like 80, 88 and a half degree. So every sheet of plywood, when you butted them together, they were off a 1/4 inch. Lengthwise, on the ends, they were off a 1/4 of an inch because they weren't cut at 90s. So basically, the guy is buying seconds, number one, or thirds, or fourths, or rejects. I don't know what the hell he's buying. And that's what I got. And I ordered 50 sheets of that shit. Luckily, I didn't build too much stuff out of it, but could you imagine using that stuff, going through all the trouble of building a boat and buying epoxy and everything? And people used it to build boats with. I know people that went into that store and built boats not so far away from here with that shit. Now, there is a grade of marine plywood that I bought in America in 1973 when I built my 21-foot cabin cruiser from scratch, from paper patterns. I'm bringing some of that stuff. Some of that stuff is still here. It's coming. It's coming to the Philippines. I took my boat apart, and the 3/4 inch that I used for floorboards and seats and stuff like that, it was still intact. The boat lasted 17 years, and we cut it up because it just was the original mahogany rotted. They left water in the boat in the wintertime. I was away for a long time, and when I came back, I was away for the winter. I was traveling. No one ever emptied the petcock. Got clogged up with leaves or some shit. When I came back in the spring, the mahogany was like spongy. So after 17 years, boat lasted 17 years. We just pulled out the motor, sold the stern drive and the motor for a couple $100 and scrapped the rest of the boat. But that plywood is coming to the Philippines. That's real marine plywood. You can buy real marine plywood in the Philippines, but I can't find it. I've seen people use it. You go to the boat builder that's using the plywood, the guys that are building the boats on the beach or wherever they're building it, you ask them where you get the plywood from, they say, I don't know. So they don't know. They build boats. They don't buy anything. They're not purchasing agents. They just order new stuff. So I've seen marine plywood, but I didn't get it. And that just pissed me off. And when I went back and told the guy, you're going to have to give me 15,000 pesos off of something when I make a big order, he said, no, sir. So I never bought a thing from him again, ever. I actually went there yesterday morning to buy. Yeah, let's tell you about the Philippines, okay? This is the shit service you get in the Philippines. The guy sells compressors. I had to go to a lawyer's office. I explained to you people that I had to make an amendment on my contract, and that was one of the reasons why the work stopped for the hotel. And Daisy, make a note that we still have to call up and get that paper. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. I had to go to a lawyer's office not so far away from the lumberyard. So I needed this. This is a quick disconnect. A quick disconnect for an air hose. Okay? It's a simple, quick disconnect for an air hose. Now, and the lumberyard happened to be not so far away from the lawyer's office, and I had to go past the lumberyard to get to the lawyer's office. That's right, John Boone Bean. Very good, John. I'll tell you why I didn't sell that boat that I showed you in the video. The boat was worthless, but that was, even to give it away, no one wanted it, John. I'll tell you why I didn't sell the boat when I'm done. Remind me after I'm done with this problem. So I go to the lumberyard yesterday, and they sell hoses with these on the end of the hoses. They sell compressors with hoses with these on the end of the hoses, but they don't sell these. Why? These are the parts that you need. And then these nipples here, this is a brass nipple. Now they come in steel or brass. People have different reasons for buying steel or brass. Brass is better because they don't rust around marine environments, but they're also softer, and they get damaged more easily and wear out faster. So I want to buy one of these at the hardware store. They don't have it. So I had to go into Tagbilaran. I go to the biggest store in Tagbilaran. This store is 5 stories tall, and it's a half a block wide and a half a block long. Tire Queen, they have 100 compressors, not 10 or 15. They have 100 compressors on the 3rd floor. They have 1,000 air tools. They have 10,000 tools, but they don't sell couplings. So I go there. I go all the way into the city. They don't sell these. So I know this is going to cost me between $6 and $8, and I don't care. I need 3 because I'm setting up to start building. So I have another hose, so I can have a different tool on the other hose. So I can have 2 hoses and 2 tools. And the nipples that I have on my equipment are all from the 1980s, and they all leak air a small amount, which means the compressor is going to run every once in a while. Every 5 minutes, it's going to turn on and have to use a lot of electric to compress air to 130 psi. So I need three of the couplings, and I was going to buy 6 nipples for the 6 tools I'm going to use on working. Hello, Carl. We are working hard again, Carl. Now, Carl Vella we've been friends. We figured it out since we're 11 years old. And Carl Vella is the person that is responsible for taking me on the jet ski and the Florida Keys vacation. So if anybody wants to know that how I got to go to the Florida Keys. Carl lives in South Florida, and he invited me for an all expense paid vacation. And he even told me when he was on the phone, I'll take care of the cab fare to the airport, everything, which he did. He only allowed me to buy one simple lunch, and we had to argue about that the whole time I was there for 5 days. So thank you for the great vacation that I had. And then not only did he all hotel foods, all expenses, then he drove me around to see my old friends and my old house. Carl, he's if a person could say that someone is their friend, I could say that Carl did something that only a friend would do. And thank you for that, Carl. Yeah, we are back working. Not today. Today is the day I have to locate. We had a good time. It was Carl's. One of the funniest things. We'll talk about my Florida vacation. These fittings can wait. Carl said to me, we were talking about our childhood experiences and our viewpoints as children, and Carl said to me, Mike, I remember you in 202, which was our junior high school, 202, Robert H. Goddard, junior high school, 202. I remember you in gym class doing the pegboard or the exercises in gym. He said everybody would do the exercises, but you had to be the best. You would, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna be the best. And that was like the funniest thing that I ever heard, because I loved gym class. In high school, not only did I like gym class, and I wrestled in high school for 4 years. I was 4 years, I was defeated twice in 4 years. So not only did I enjoy high school and gym class and wrestling, I used to teach the gym class. That I would do the exercises. No one liked when I gave them the exercises. Thank you, Carl. No one liked, but Carl reminded me of how hard I worked to climb the pegboard, because Carl and I were about the same size and height. We actually in class we actually was like Carl went from the smallest person to the biggest person, and Carl and I and Albie Clark, we were like the same size, so we were either in front of or back of each other for the 5 years that we were in the same classes. No, 4 years. Carl was smarter than I was. Carl was in. Carl had he had a language, so he was in 5'1" and 6'1", and I was in 5'2" and 6'2". So he was smarter, so he had the language. But he reminded me of when I first started the pegboard. Nobody gave a shit except Michael. People did the exercises, but I was the only one that tried to succeed. Thank you, Carl. So when I was doing the pegboard, I remember the pegboard. The pegboard I was only like 85 pounds when I went into 202. So I was light enough to do the pegboard and the horse, the pommel horse. But the pegboard, you had to go up the pegboard and then go over to the right and then down and then back across. I couldn't even get up to the top. I just wasn't strong enough. By the time I left 202, I could go around the pegboard and back around the pegboard and back around the pegboard as many times as I felt like it. And the ropes, I could do. I don't even know how they got away with putting ropes in a gym class 30, 40 years ago. You took a 2-inch rope and you climbed up the rope. And I could do the L with the legs, up the rope and down the rope. And the ceilings were 20 feet. Picture now a gym class with ropes in it, with a wood floor, and you climb the rope. Now, most people, when you start doing the ropes, you just lock your legs around the rope. And that's how everybody starts. But the idea was to climb the ropes with your legs in an L position. I could do that also. By the time I was done with high school, I could go up the rope, down the rope, up the rope, and down the rope twice in an L position. Because I did I did 1,000 sit-ups a day routinely, sometimes 2,000 or 3,000 a day for wrestling. I had the school record in sit-ups. I had tied the school record for sit-ups. Okay, so now sit-ups are objective. What's a sit-up? Well, our idea of a sit-up was somebody to hold your feet, ankles down to the floor, and then bring your elbow to your knee. That your elbow had to touch your knee. So from laying in a flat position on your back, so someone holding your ankles, and then you coming up and touching your opposite leg kneecap, that was one sit-up. And the record was 56 sit-ups in a minute, and that's the record I tied. But I didn't break it, but I tried to break it. I could never get that 57th sit-up, and neither could anybody else. And we tried, and we had a good class. We had a good wrestling team. So, yeah, so Carl said no one gave a shit in gym class except Michael. And I loved gym. I loved wrestling. I loved working out. You never know it, but I actually was in I was in good shape at some point. Daisy looks at my video. Yeah, look at this video. You want to see what kind of shape I was in? Blue Rose made this video for me. It's called A Tribute to Michael Fazio. I'll write it down and I'll give you the link. A tribute to Michael Fazio, and here's the link. Carl, you might remember me when I looked like this. Okay, so A Tribute to Michael Fazio. That's the kind of shape I was in when I was 30 years old, by the way. That was 1980. That was right around 1984, where I'm on the beach. I guess I was about 30 years old. It was somewhere late 20s, mid to late 20s, but possibly like 29 years old. That was the shape I was in. It was one of those, I think it was Scott. He said it was like Olympic shape, even into my late 20s. I'm not sure who it was that said that. Michael McFarland. Hello, Michael. Welcome to the machine. Geraldo Lola. Welcome to the machine, Geraldo. The delicious pepperoncini with the coffee and the anchovies. If you haven't tried it, you should try it. It's good. Actually, it's quite the complimentary flavors. So going back to Carl Vela, we not only did he supplied me with a great vacation, but we had some great conversation, and we stayed in beautiful hotels. We visited some of my old friends, and Carl was like reluctant. He's going, "Do you have any friends?" He asked me, "Do you have any friends?" Actually, because he knows I have a bad attitude, and I'm going, "You want to see my friends? Come into the Napa Auto Supply at mile marker 100." And, there was nothing but hugs and laughs and how you doings and all that. What's new? What's new? I haven't seen you in 6 years. There's a lot of stuff that's new. And I had the guys when we went to visit some of my friends. Actually, one of my friends was the photographer on the USS the USS Kennedy, the aircraft carrier. one of my friends was the photographer on that, and he got to fly in all the fancy jets, and he was the ship's photographer. He got to see it in the pilot house. He knew the captain and him, and then there was my other neighbors that I had seen. Everything was wonderful, and we had a great time, and I thank Carl very much for that. Then we went through the Everglades on the jet ski, and in case, now I know I've been trolled. I've been trolled by other people's channels, trolls, and because Carl and I were together in the Florida Keys, people made comments about Carl and I, and that's just wrong. You guys, Carl is a man's man. Okay, and you already know about me. So Carl, let me tell you a little piece of history about Carl, about his athletic ability. It's not minimal, that's for sure. In fact, it's world renowned, Carl's athletic ability. Carl's athletic ability reaches to the point where something I could never do, something most 20, 25, 30-year-old men could never do. No, nobody could do what Carl has done. At his age, there are very few men in this world that have accomplished the physical attributes of Carl Vela, the man that you will never see except on my videos. Okay, so here we are. Everybody has heard of the Baja 500 and the Baja 1000 in California. It's a race. And most of the time you see the Bajas, it's in a car, where you're inside a car in a cage with a helmet and radio gear and all that other stuff, and you go across the desert in a car. But do you know anybody that's actually won it 3 times? Well, that's Carl Vela, but not in a car. This is why I say nobody could do what he has done as far as physical attributes. Carl participated in the Baja 500-mile quad race, where you get on a quad, one of those. I don't even know the name of these things. It's a 4-wheel go-kart, quad. It's called a quad, and you go through the Baja 500 miles, which over those sand dunes and jumping and all that shit, the water, the reveal, all that shit, the ATV quads. Thank you, Michael. And Carl participated. Now, I could be wrong, but I think it was 5 times. Yes, he did, Carl. Talking about channels getting taken down. Yes, he did. So, he was abusing and threatening people, and he got his channel taken down actually for saying the C word multiple times. It wasn't necessarily any of the threats or yes, he was the one that was posting stuff about you and me possibly being closer in relationship than we would ever even think about. So yeah, he was the one. His trolls, I'm sure it was his trolls. So yeah, now for Carl to go out on a limb and say something like that, it's just not Carl's style. He doesn't get upset or angry. But going back to what Carl's accomplishments physically are in life, he participated in the Baja California quad, ATV quad, 4 or 5 times in the 500 and won, I believe, twice. So how that works is for 250 miles, you ride the motorcycle and then you tag your partner rides 250 miles. So can now picture riding 250 miles at top speed over mountains and moguls and hills and dirt and dust and all that other crap At the age of 50-something years old, Carl won twice. He was on, and he was one of the drivers, not that he was part of a team like a mechanic or anything like that. He was the guy who ran the machine. And then in the 1,000, each person participates 250 miles, 4 drivers, and they won. And Carl and his team, or the team that was associated with Carl, they won that the 1,000 one time and the Baja 500 twice. Now, in the age of 50 years old, in that age bracket, no, not that there's an age bracket for the Baja 500. You could be any age, but at that age, in his 50s, he took the Baja 500 twice, participated multiple more times, and the 1,000 they won once. So Carl is not a throwback when it comes to being physically fit. He's a physically fit man. And when we were together in Florida, he has an electric motorcycle, which I had never seen before, and he was doing jumps and like a he's like a rodeo. An amazing man, my friend Carl. So we had a great time, and I got to talk to Carl about the Baja 500 and setting up the equipment, and we got to talk about our first girlfriend that we both love, Leanne Rickenbacker, and playing spin the bottle and going in the pool. Carl lived like 1 inch away from me. Our yards were back-to-back catty-cornered, so we just used to jump over the fence. And Leanne lived next door. Everybody was in love with Leanne. So we had a great time about that. And it brought back a lot of really cool memories, really, really cool memories of childhood and what we did as kids. And Carl was the first person in the world that I know of. I won't tell you what was inside the Bible, but Carl was the first. Carl used to carry around a Bible all the time. He carved out the inside of a Bible, and he used it for. It was a stash, but he always had a Bible. No one could figure out why he always carried around a Bible. Well, he was working. As children, it was the strangest thing. You see Carl walking down the block with a Bible. I didn't even know what a Bible was when I was 13, 14 years old. I didn't read the Bible. But he had a Bible, and it was who would ever look inside a Bible for things. Carl was the first person in the world to carve out a Bible and use it for a stash. And Carl taught me how to clean money, laundry money. We used to take our singles, and we had a lot of them, and we'd put them in the washing machine and wash them, the singles and the fives, because they were all dirty and crumpled up. Carl taught me how to wash money when I was like 14 years old, 15 years old. Now, just to put the bills in the washing machine it gets them clean. You put it on a slow cycle and you put lots of soap and bleach in it. It brings them back to brand new, crisp looking bills. But now how do you make them flat, right? How do you make them flat so they stay flat? How do you dry them flat? Because if you just put it on top of a cloth or paper, the bills are going to just wrinkle up. No. Carl figured out how to launder money and make them look like brand new crisp bills by putting them in the washing machine and then taking a Bogan printer, a Bogan dryer, where when you made a photograph, when you took it out of the solution, you put it on a flat metal pan and then you put a cover over it and it would dry flat. Carl taught me how to launder money and dry them so that they would be flat, and then we could give the people our stacks of bills nice and new. Carl was a very smart man. He was a very smart young man, too. He figured out stuff that other people couldn't even possibly comprehend. Come on, the ultimate stash. You're 14 years old. You're carrying around a Bible. Who's going to look inside the Bible? Even if you got, they went through your shit at school, who's going to look into your Bible? They're just going to put the Bible to the side. Yeah, and to clean the bills, it was like a Bogan. I think it was, well, Bogan and larger, but it was a print dryer, and it had a big round metal plate, and on top of the plate was a piece of canvas. You put the bills on the canvas, and they take them out of the washing machine. They dry really quick, and then they had looked like bank bills when we were done with them. Carl is a very smart man, always was. So, yeah, so getting vertical lips. Yeah, baby. So we had a great time. Thanks, Carl. Did I miss anything? Yeah. Carl says my hair dye looks great. It's not dyed, buddy. Okay, I remember now. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you see how I salt and peppered it? Yeah, baby. I had it. That cost a fortune, to have them salt and pepper that stuff. Yeah. Carl thought because the vertical lips guy thought I dyed my hair. First, he thought I had a wig, where he was wrong about that. How many things can you be wrong about before you start to self-examine yourself? He was wrong about me having a wig. He was wrong about my hair being dyed. He was wrong about so many things. They were posting. I don't think the vertical lips actually posted, but one of his trolls or troll accounts posted that Michael Fazio was responsible for the death of someone due to faulty workmanship, and that guy lived in New Jersey, and they posted that shit all over the internet. He was wrong about that, but he was definitely calling me Michael Fazic, Fazic, or Fazik. I've never gone under the name of Michael Fazio, and when I called him on that, he couldn't prove it. How many things can you be wrong about before you self-examine and realize that you're just a loser in general in life? Can you say that you rebuilt motors in your Chevy Nova? Meanwhile, while you had a Chevy Nova, I had a 440 6-pack GTX with 411 Dana rear and Dana axles that turned 13 flat with street tires and regular plugs. You had a Chevy Nova with a V8. Woo! Big doings. Or I had an SS350 Camaro at that point when you had a Chevy Nova. So you compare yourself with other people, and your comparisons by standards are substandard comparisons, by the way. But have you ever... So that's why your channel got taken down, because you're a very, very angry man. You call people haters, but actually you're projecting your hatred on everybody else. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And for Carl to say good that you got your channel taken down, that's way out and above his pay grade for remarks and negative. And the whole time I was with Carl, the negativity factor was basically zero. We never talked about anything that got either one of us upset, and we never talked about anything negative except you, to the vertical lips guy. Carl said to me, what is it about that guy that you and him are fighting? I said, I'm not fighting with him. I just point out that he's an unaccomplished man that's very angry, that never accomplished anything in his life, that thinks he's an accomplished man. But there's nothing that he has ever done or can show people that stands out above the rest, okay? He's not like, did he come in city champion? Did he go to the city championships in wrestling 3 out of 4 years running? The 4th year, no, because I broke my wrist the 4th year. I actually broke my hand. My broke these fingers here. All of these. 1, 2, 3 knuckles, and the bones on the top here. 1, 2, 3 bones. They were broke. My hand was like this. It still is. But that's why I didn't go to wrestling the 4th year. Go figure. Now, and that was, where's my, I have my hat coming. I'll tell that story when my hat gets here. That was because someone took a hat off my head and threw it out of a 6th floor window in Aviation High School. That was a story. That was the toughest guy in the school. Or everybody thought he was the toughest guy in the school. Okay, so even I thought that. All right. Okay, so, all right. Scott, Papa's and beer in the Rosita MK. I don't know, Scott. You would have to ask Carl what years he participated, if he would like to share that with you. He would. And I can't even tell you what, and then on, I'm sure Carl doesn't want me to tell him the last part about leaving at the airport, but thanks, Carl. Really, that helped a lot. Thank you very much. Laundering money through Patreon. We do have a Patreon account for those of you who wish to join my Patreon account. Actually, I'm doing a special on my Patreon. Normally, I post videos of my personal stuff on only like $10 or above on my Patreon, but I have several videos of me working in one of my warehouses in New York, and I'm posting it at the $3 and above level. Normally I don't do that, but I have a series of 9 7-minute videos that I'm posting at the $3 and above level. If you want to become a member of my Patreon account, this is some of the benefits. I'll talk about that. One of the benefits is if you're a $10 member or above and you wish to know something about the Philippines, I will call you up and you can ask me your question. If you are a $20 member or above, you get to see other videos that no one else will ever see of my personal things. And if you're a $50 member above, at $10, basically, I'll help you with anything you need to do coming to the Philippines, or Bohol, and hotel expenses, or places to go, places to eat. I mean, I could save you a fortune, but people ask me these questions during my live streams or just on comments in the videos. I'm not gonna provide free information. People can say whatever they want about that. There's a fella named Reiki, R-E-K-E-E, E-E-Y, or R-E-K-E-Y, Reiki. He provides the same service that I provide in Patreon. He provides a service through Skype. I think, well, when I remember seeing his service, he charges $35 per hour to talk to you on Skype calling. And he'll answer any questions as best he can. But I did hear it's $50, and the person to ask about that would be Mrs. Heminger. Mrs. Heminger and Ricky have a long-standing relationship. Ricky, okay, Ricky, R-I-C-K-E-E-Y, Ricky. I haven't watched any of his videos in a long time. Hello, Nico's Experience. Nico's Experience is another Philippines vlogger. You might want to check out his channel. He's friends with Popeye One. He's friends with Passport TV, another great channel. in the Philippines vlogging community. Dick Insider. Now, some people don't like the humor of Dick Insider, and some people do. And Passport TV, the same goes there. And also the Flying Circus. Some people don't like his sense of humor, and some do. So those are 3 channels: the Flying Circus, Passport TV, Reloaded, and Dick Insider, DICK space N as in November, period, space Cider, CIDER. If you want to, if you guys are listening, you can post the links to your channel here. Welcome to do so. Mark Osborne, I am actually sure that one of my wrenches will remove you, but there's no reason for that. No reason for that kind of stuff. So at $100 or above, I'll let you take me out to dinner. But you, Mark Osborne, have trolled this channel for the last time. So let's get you out of here. Okay.
Mark Osborne?
Yeah, Mark Osborne. He thought that was funny.
He's your last time in the Patreon.
He's a Patreon member? No.
Yeah, but he quit.
He quit? Okay. Well, he quit, and now he's trolling. So, all right. Well, he's gone anyway. Mark Osborne. Yeah, you were a Patreon. Daisy said you were a Patreon member. You've never asked me for anything. Well, thanks for being a Patreon member, and I'm not going to tolerate that kind of crap on my channel. I don't really care if you were a Patreon member or not. That is just, I don't even know that you're the real Mark Osborne and don't care. You've got your 5 minutes of fame. Thanks for the money that you gave me on Patreon, and have a nice day. Michael McFarland, Ricky's in Vietnam now. Yeah, I heard that. Mrs. Heminger and Ricky are long-term adversaries. I'll just leave it at that. Mrs. Heminger has devoted a large portion of his life to being an adversary of Ricky. What is that? Oh, Chinese pitch eye.
Diet.
My diet. Thank you, honey. We're on a diet. Vegetables and noodles. Thank you, Daisy. I don't understand why Mark would say something like that, but he did. Okay. Michael McFarland. My link is my name. Don't promote my channel. You need to see the Big Bang video. All right. Why don't, Michael McFarland, would you please supply us the link to the video you'd like us to see? Mercury said hello. Daisy, come on over here, please. She's sewing. Bring over what you're sewing, too, honey.
Huh?
What are you sewing?
Your jacket.
She's sewing my jacket. Thank you. So we have to sing to Mercury because I talked about a toilet bowl and he sent us a beautiful super chat.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mercury 3, for the super chat, and because of that, we will sing to you. Thank you very much with Michael Fazio. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Mercury 3. Salamat. Salamat. Okay. Yeah, Nico, so many fake avatars, you just never know. Okay, Michael, thank you for posting the link. Slim Jim. Now, Slim Jim is a man that's been with me for probably since I started my first channel. And Slim Jim loves Passport TV, Reloaded, Dick Insider, Popeye, One, Quinton Ballou, who am I forgetting? The Flying Circus, Frankie's Flying Circus. And there's several. But Slim Jim, as soon as those videos come out, Slim Jim's got a positive comment. That keeps Slim Jim happy for hours on end watching those channels. So if you like humor, some people call it hate speech. Some people call it humor. Some people call it comedy. Some people call it parodies. Slim Jim loves it all. Years and years. That's right. Slim Jim has been... No, I'm not trolling you. I've known you. I've known your name since the very beginning. And Slim Jim likes the same kind of comedy and parody and humor as I do. I guess we were cut from the same cloth. There's no trolling here. Vegemite. Vegemite is that Lucille Ball thing, the Vegemite. Yes, sir. Slim Jim. There's quite a few people that have been watched even some of my first videos. Anthony from Street Stories. He's an expert. In fact, let me tell you a story. Daisy and I about a year ago we met Max, right? At the Outback, we met Max.
Yeah.
About a year ago, I'm walking.
Max, the owner of the restaurant.
No,
Area?
the black man
Yeah.
from Australia.
Yeah.
I'm walking through a restaurant called the Outback in Alona Beach, which the food just used to be great, but now it's not so good. Same mom, different dad, mate. Yep, you got that right. So, making a video about a light extension cord they had across the top of the step where you could just trip on. You might as well just put a tripwire on the top step. And I'm walking through the restaurant, and there's a black man with a Filipino girlfriend. They're having fried chicken. There was some chicken wings and chicken legs on the plate. And he reaches out and grabs my arm. He goes, "Michael Fazio, Rabbi Jew Barker, I know every word from every one of your videos." And I look at the guy and I said, "Thanks." He goes, "Sit down. I want to buy you a beer." So I sat down and we had a great conversation. Then we went to Payag in down the block. He wanted to go to he wanted to take me out to the Japanese restaurant. He was adamant about taking me out for dinner. Max, his name was, from Australia. He just wasn't going to let me go without him taking us out for dinner, Daisy and I. And we sat down. We had some great conversation. He goes, "Let's go next door to the Japanese restaurant." I said, "Dude, unless you're like a gazillionaire, you're not going to want to eat in there. The prices start at 1,675 pesos for an entree that's about this big on the plate. Just a little piece of like fish or crab, whatever." So we went next door when we left the Outback, and he looked at the menu. He goes, "Nah, not what I want. I'd rather have something." And theoretically, 1,700 pesos for a plate for two people to start, that's 3,500 pesos. And then times two with him and his girlfriend, that's 7,000, that's $140 for 4 entrees. Are you crazy in the Philippines? So, thought about it, we should have went to the Henin for 900 pesos. You get a full buffet. That's a good buffet. Now, I do have videos of that buffet coming up, the Henin buffet. Some friends of ours, very famous bloggers, but they wish to remain 100% anonymous. They don't want to have anything to do with the name Michael Fazio on YouTube. They do a different kind of blogging, but they said, we love your videos, but if we associate your name in the tags, our video views go down 90%. That's how much YouTube is censoring my channel and my videos. Such is life. Okay, let's go to the questions and answers. Slim Jim, I would never troll you. Yep, we're cut from the same cloth. There's no doubt about that, Slim Jim. When I read Slim Jim's comments on Passport TV or Dick Insider's videos or Popeye One shorts, when I read his comments, I'm going, I could have wrote that. I could have wrote that. I definitely could have wrote that. So, Jedi, I have the answer to your question. Daisy and I met on January 21st of 2016 on the internet. On April 21st, we met in person. And on April 30th, Daisy moved in with me in Bohol. So basically, the answer to your question is we've lived together for 3 years and 2 months. 3 years and 6 weeks. But we've known each other 3 years and 5 months. So we've lived together for 3 years and 6 weeks. Okay, so Barry is, everyone wants to see Daisy. Yeah, baby. You Slim Jim. I refrain from posting on the videos in question, Slim Jim. I have my reasons. They're all legal reasons. I have some legal things going on, and I was asked to refrain from commenting or even making videos about certain things. So Barry, Jedi, we met on Filipina Cupid, Daisy?
Yeah.
Yes. She was the one girl. I had the same speech. Hello, Popeye. Welcome to the machine. Yeah, we were just talking about Popeye. Popeye has a great, Popeye One has a fantastic channel. He does these, the worst, Popeye One does some great videos, okay? They're not hate speech, that's for sure, not in my opinion. And he gets to the point in a roundabout way, and you keep waiting, like the problem with the Popeye One shorts is that they are Popeye One shorts. When they end, you go, oh, I could have watched 10 more minutes of that stuff. But they're shorts. They're 2 to 5 minutes long. And then you got 35, 40-second introduction, which takes away from the 4-minute long or 3-minute long video. You got a 2-minute video. When it's over, you go, well, I could have watched that concept go on for another 10 minutes. But they're Popeye One shorts. That's right. So that's the problem with the Popeye One shorts. Not hate speech. And Popeye One made note last week. I like the way Popeye One made a note that there are YouTube wars going on between channels and people. Jedi, Barry is, Daisy will come over in a few minutes. She keeps herself very busy. Pinoy, ahoy! Welcome to the machine, Pinoy. So there are wars going on, and in one of the blogging wars, one of the bloggers called for mass flagging of my channel for sure several times, and other people's channels several times. Now, that's not allowed. Okay, so Popeye One made a short, or not a short, a live stream, how he would never, ever, ever, ever call for the flagging or mass flagging of another person's channel. But when Popeye One sees something that he doesn't agree with, he fills out the long form. I like the way he put those. I like the way he worded that. I like the way he went about that too. Because I do believe that the mass flagging of someone's channel to call it out is illegal. So Daisy's going to say hello. And Popeye One puts this stuff in perspective from I guess, a more level-headed point of view than I would, because the mass. So basically, I learned something about the long form, and when you see something in another person's videos that you don't like, and you want to go about, if you choose to go about reporting it, don't just push the report button. Go to what is called the long form, and Popeye explains all of that in one of his videos. You could post a link to that video, Popeye, if you like, because that's a pretty cool video. So Popeye One, yep. So, all right. So here's my girl Daisy. Now, even somebody went so far as to say that Daisy was my indentured servant, which I don't agree. That's going to happen soon, Carl. We had to get this. Carl. So I did explain to you, Carl, that Daisy and I were talking about that yesterday. Baby names, yeah, yeah. We were talking about baby names, and while we were working on the roof in the hot sun. So yeah, if as soon as that thing gets finished in New York, that's going to happen one way or another. That's going to happen. It happens regular, but it doesn't happen in full regular. But there's lots of practice. So yeah, Daisy's going to make a beautiful mother. There's no doubt about that. So we're not. The thing I explained to you, Carl, about the lack of a certain phrase in our rental agreement contract, and I explained it to some of my other friends here. I'll show you the contract when I get the amendment. The amendment is done. It's supposed to be sitting in the lawyer's office. I went to the lawyer's office yesterday on the way to the city to pick up those parts, and the secretary was not there to hand me the paperwork. But once I get that paperwork, I'm going to show people a proper rental agreement for land in the Philippines and what needs to be put in and what needs to be left out of a rental agreement. Now, I had a lawyer. I explained to Carl that it was missing. There was
exercise.
What, honey?
I will exercise.
All right? Before you exercise, Daisy wishes to upstairs.
Only here.
Daisy wishes to exercise, and her exercise program takes 45 minutes. So, would you like to sing before you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? Well, you know what you do? Sing a happy birthday.
Who?
To anybody. Who's got to be somebody's birthday soon. Whoever's birthday's coming up, Daisy's going to sing a happy birthday. Let me get out of here. Let me move right out. You sit in the middle. Okay. Okay. So now I'll explain to you about the contract in full when I get the amendment. And I have the amendment done. I have 1, 2, 3 of 4 signatures were done 2 days ago. Yesterday was the 4th signature, and then they the lawyer put the stamp on it. But when I get that, I'll explain it to you. Okay. Now Daisy's gonna sing happy birthday to whoever's birthday's coming up soon.
Oh, okay.
First say hello, Daisy.
Hello everyone. Today, because Michael have a request that I'll sing an happy birthday song, so I'll just sing because after this I'll go exercise. 1, 2, 3. Sing for me also. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. May the Lord God bless you.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Salamat.
Sing it like Marilyn Monroe. I don't know how to sing Marilyn Monroe.
She doesn't know who Marilyn Monroe is.
I know her, but I don't know how to sing like Marilyn Monroe.
1 minute. I'll be there in a minute, guys.
Well, thank you, Mercury Trees. Because of that, I'll sing again. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, Mercury 3.
Salamat.
Taker Jedi, because I think you're in a vacation here in the Philippines. Taking Michael is having a snack or drinking water. So, what else?
Okay.
Bye-bye. I'll do my exercise. Have a snack.
You? Yeah, baby. You can have, just leave the skin, yep. Thank you, Jedi. I mean, Mercury. Jedi, what part of the Philippines are you coming to?
I think Iloilo, I remember. Iloilo. There's a house there.
Scott, we figured out a way for you to... Carl says, Daisy, you cracked the screen on my phone. Ah, you cracked the screen on Carl's phone.
What?
Your beauty.
Really?
No, well, usually when someone says that, it means that you are ma'ut. And the glass broke when they were looking through it, but he's only kidding. Thank you, Jedi. Salamat.
Oh, okay.
Sing. Let's sing to Jedi. Thank you very much, Carl. Yeah, Carl. I knew that you were kidding. Daisy, see, that's one of the things, Carl, when you the people in the Philippines, they're not brought up watching television like we do, and the comedies that we brought, the Archie Bunker, Maud, they're not brought up with that kind of understanding about cracking the screen. They wouldn't understand that humor. So a lot of the humor that when you say jokes in English, the Filipinos just look at you. Really? You know, they have no idea what to say. So yeah, that means that you're so ugly that the screen on his phone broke. But that basically he's saying that you're the opposite, that you are guapa. Thank you, Carl.
Ah, okay.
They don't understand. That's right, Scott. They don't understand ball busting. You goof around in the Philippines, if you don't have the proper mindset to goof around here, they get mad at you. Like, I'm the only person that can. Okay, so I'll give you a perfect, for instance, anybody that's coming to the Philippines, don't joke with Filipinos because they don't understand your humor. So if you don't have the proper intonation and inflection in your voice, they take it the wrong way. Like if you call a Filipino bakakun ka means liar. If you call a Filipino bakakun, they are going to be offended and pissed off, and they might want to do physical damage to you. I can call any Filipino bakakun ka, make them laugh because of the way I say it. So, but I break them in the same way every day. I break them in the same way. I get on the jeepney. I say Mayan buntag if it's evening, or I say Mayan gabi if it's morning. And then they say, no, Dali, it's buntag. So I'll say Mayan gabi at 7 o'clock in the morning. No, Dali, it's buntag. And then I will say Tunud na, which means are you sure? And then they go, wow, you speak Visaya. And I say, oh, only gamay like myself, gamailan, like me, I am small. And then they go, way, which means that you're a liar. And I will say, Dali bakakun, I am not a liar. And they will go, and then I will say to them, I weigh 32 kilos. And they'll go, ba you are tambok. And I will go, bakakun ka, like that, bakakun ka. But if I just started off saying bakakun ka, they get pissed off. Then they laugh. But you gotta break them in with 3 or 4 smaller jokes first. So we're gonna sing to Jedi, yeah? Ready? And then you're gonna exercise, right? Okay. So ready? On 3 to Jedi. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Jedi. Salamat. Thank you, Jedi. All right, so you will exercise?
Yeah.
What exercise program will you do?
My exercise is, it's very, not one. I will just copy, what do you call that?
Copy. Follow that girl on the exercise?
Yeah.
All right.
Going down.
This one?
Down. Right down. That's my exercise application. So I just need to follow. That's all.
Okay, she's working her abs. Because when her mother was here, she was working on consuming calories. Her and her mom splurged on only a few times, 5 times on ice cream. But apparently they were splurging on a regular basis. And Daisy is a small person, and she actually got a belly. It's a very small belly, but she actually got a belly from 6 weeks of partying with her mother, whom I didn't get to meet this time around. I'm very upset about that, but that's life in the Philippines. Mother had to leave prematurely. I'm getting down to the comments. I'm going to the comments right now. Jedi's going to Iloilo. Okay, I've never been there. It's a small little island. Actually, it was one of the places I thought about living. I never got there, so I never looked into living there. Daisy does have a beautiful smile, Scott. You're right about that. Guapa. Well, Jedi, I found an Italian restaurant here in Bohol that is. I went to the best Italian restaurant, the best pizzeria in Queens, New York. By far, everybody says it's the best. And I had what's called a grandma pizza. It's basically just Parmesan cheese. It's a square pie. Parmesan cheese. The dough was correct, and fresh basil, fresh tomatoes, and fresh mozzarella on top, with no meat, just all vegetables. And it's supposed to be the best pizza pie anybody's ever eaten, according to my entire family and friend circle of friends in New York. And I took one lonely farmer, and I and his wife Teresa and his son William. They came to visit me in New York, and I had some equipment that I didn't bring to the Philippines that one lonely farmer gave me a generous amount of money for. I said, whatever money that you wish to give me, I will accept wholeheartedly and say thank you with no reservations. If you want to give me $5, I will say thank you. If you want to give me more, I will say thank you. There will never be, I will be happy with anything, because otherwise this stuff is not going to get used by anybody. And he came all the way from New Jersey, I won't tell you where, and then brought a big flatbed truck, and we loaded it up with the gear. And then we went back to One Lonely Farmer's farm, and we had his wife Teresa made, oh God, she made a dinner with portobello mushrooms, and oh, it was just unbelievable, the dinner. And I got to meet his son Joe and his other son Tim, and by that time it was 10 o'clock at night. Everybody went to sleep, and we got up early in the morning, and he showed me around his farm. I have a few dozen videos of the farm, and we went over the bridge from New Jersey to Pennsylvania, and there's this old bridge, and then he showed me where they made something called slag. The furnaces that they made, showed me a little red schoolhouse, a real little red schoolhouse. And then it was time to leave by about 10 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning. We had toured his entire farm. He showed me all his equipment. I have videos of that. And then I got on a bus and in New Jersey, and I was home from 70 miles away from my house by truck. I was home in my house having lunch 2 hours later. The bus came at 10:15. I would have been home at 12:15, but the train broke down, so it was another 45 minutes. So at 1 o'clock I was home, and we had a great time. He was one of the bloggers that I met while I was on in New York working. So getting back to Jedi, I found this Italian restaurant in New York. It was supposed to be the best restaurant anybody ever saw or ate at. I found an Italian restaurant in Bohol that I had something called the Lorenzo pizza pie last week that made the pie I ate in New York taste like garbage. And the pie was 430 pesos, which was $8.60. And it would probably take two of those to equal the size and the amount of the grandma's pizza. So figure $17 for two of those pies. That blew the taste of the grandma's pizza away. And grandma's pizza for 8 slices was $33 with one Sprite. So, and then of course plus the tip, it was $40 for a pizza pie with the tip and one Sprite. So so if you ever come, if you want Italian food, I found a great Italian food restaurant. If you want a Filipino food, Payag, we can eat there. We can have the delicious roasted chicken with a little pork shish kebab and unlimited rice for 180 pesos or $3.60. Or if you'd like, you want to have the best buffet in the Philippines that I've been to ever, we can go to the Henan, Henan, Henan for 927 pesos. It puts out by far the best, absolute best buffet I have ever eaten in my life for $18. So if you ever decide to come, we can go to any one of those 3 places. Nico's coming to the Philippines, looks forward to meeting up with you when I arrive there in September. I know you will be busy, but let's see. Yeah, that's fine. We'll make time for that. The same goes for you. If you want Filipino food, $3.60 gets you a great meal at Payag per person. The pie, the Lorenzo, is $8.60, and that feeds 2 people easy. Very nice. Or we could go to a buffet. That's up to you. That would be up to you. I saved those occasions to go to places like that for when people come. So, but once I get this paperwork back from the lawyer for the problem I had in the contract, I had a good contract that I wrote, and the lawyer that I had, I got to tell you, man, Filipinos are tricky people. The lawyer threw in a clause in the contract. It didn't hurt me, but it certainly wasn't beneficial for me in the contract. And until I get that paperwork on my desk, I won't talk about it anymore. And I didn't ask him to put it in. It wasn't in the first contract. I wrote the first contract. It was a good contract. I wrote the second contract with him. He didn't like my contract. And then we agreed on the second contract. And somehow there was an amendment in the second contract when we went to the lawyer's office, and he threw this other clause in, all out of the blue. Really didn't like that clause. I'll go over that contract law with you when I'm done, but it's resolved now. And supposedly the papers are signed and notarized, and the documents went into the registrar, and we'll let you know how that works out. We may go out and celebrate when that's done. Okay, so Slim Jim says, taxi drivers ask where I'm from, and I say Australia. Then I ask them if they are Mexican because they are brown. Talk about. That's how it breaks the ice. Yeah, you talk about a sense of humor. You got to say that just at the right time. You got to have good timing to say something like that. Yep, Jedi, we can go to any one of those places for lunch. Okay. It's a huge burger. Okay, the Big Bang Burger in Cebu. I'll check out that link later because I have business in Cebu. Actually, I have business in Cebu any day now. I have to get a broker to bring some equipment from another country into the Philippines, and I'm going to have to deal with that. I was going to deal with it today, but I decided to do a live stream. Yeah, I'll look into that. If it's anywhere close to where I'm going to be in Cebu for 3 days prior to the equipment coming, and then 5 days once the equipment comes, because it has to be offloaded and then loaded back onto another container that I have to purchase in Cebu. I'll check that out if it's anywhere near. Although I haven't had a good hamburger in a year now. I've tried one other place that I wouldn't put on video. It was garbage.
Yeah.
Scott Del Fuego was into baseball. Here we have only the Chicago Cubs can make a 4-run lead in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Stressful. Oh my God. That would be an upset, to say the least. Wow, Michael, that is as large as a pizza is round. Hello, Dennis Adam. Welcome to the machine. Welcome to the machine. Ah, okay. Okay, so Dennis is talking about